Do get his little photo op in with the bikes. That's what it's all about, though. So check it out, man. You already know if you got any murals in your city, in your town, man. Holla at your boy, man. I'm coming through and get that snapshot, get that photo op. You know what I mean? And I tell you what, man. I even take you out for lunch. How about that? California dreaming. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Retro. It is, man. We on our way down the road, and I wanted to hop on because I didn't have time to, fire up the studio and do what was necessary. So I said I would do a little mobile shout out to everybody. I hope everybody's having a fabulastic day. A fabulastic day is a day that is so fabulous that it's going to have to extend itself. It's going to have to expand. Okay. So put in the comment section, I'm going to have a fabulastic day. So you take the word fabulous and then elastic. And so it's a fabulastic day. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The day is going to be so good that it's going to have to expand. It's going to have to expand. There's a scripture in the Bible, and it talks about it's a prayer of Jabez, as a matter of fact, and it talks about strengthen thy stakes and enlarge thy territory, and so that's the kind of day we're going to have. I was going to be on the bike, and the intent was to do some moto vlogging, but before I can get from the house to the building, it started raining on me, and it's one thing to get caught in the rain, but to leave in the rain is another thing. And I've done that before too, but today I just wasn't feeling it. All right. So we're talking about windows of opportunity. All right. And you got to realize that sometimes when you not feeling something, then you just ain't feeling it. And you've got to be at a place and point in life where you will not allow the pressure that others try to create to force you, push you, or make you do anything that you just don't feel like doing. Look at here, man. It's 2023. Vente tres, I believe it is. Vente tres. All my Spanish speaking folk, let me know if I did that right. Vente tres. 23. All right. And so 2023, man, it's a different year, man. We got to do some things differently, okay? You are too old not to be comfortable in your skin. I don't care how wrinkled it is. I don't care how dark it is. I don't care how light it is. I don't care the condition of your skin. It's your skin. And you've got to be comfortable in your skin. You are the king of your lane. And so if you run your lane, you won't have no problem. Let's talk about these windows of opportunity. Now, a window of opportunity is a time or space wherein you can maximize a situation, all right? Now, the saddest story as it pertains to windows of opportunity that I believe I've heard in a long time, and you might be able to share something in the comment section. Let me see. This is going to bug the fool out of me. Let me see if I can turn this off real quick. Bada boom, bada bang. Let's see. Is that what I want? That's not what I want. I was going to see if I can turn off that little thing because I can't see your comments because There we go. All right. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with me. But we're talking about windows of opportunity, and so the saddest story I think that I heard as it pertained to windows of opportunity was the story of Mr. I want to say his name was Walton or whatever, but it's the guy who owned Walmart, and many of you guys have probably heard the story. Well, anyway, the story goes that he had a group of friends, and they would all meet at the local diner in their small town, Arkansas, I believe it was. And so he had a little hardware store, and he was trying to take it to the next level. And in the efforts of taking his small business to the next level, he began to share his dream, his vision, his plan, and his goals with his friends. Okay? Now, he said, look, if each of you guys can give me X amount of dollars, I can take this thing to the other level, and we can all be set for life. And they said, man, that's a great idea. I'm in. And so they started writing checks. Yeah. And so one guy, he goes home, he's excited. Yes, I just took advantage of this window of opportunity. And I'm sowing into my good friend's vision, dream, plan, and his business. So he gets home and he begins to tell his wife, yes, I just sold so-and-so and such and such and so on and so forth. And she says, what? You gave him how much money? She said, that was the money you needed, that tractor. You better go down there and get our money back. And guess what he did? He went back and he got his money back. So Sam, I think his name was, gave him this check, and that was that. And so the rest of the story is history pretty much, because he took a little small town hardware store and turned it into Wally World. And from what I understand, you can go back to their hometown and you can tell the individuals who took advantage of the window of opportunity. Okay. Now, sometimes a window of opportunity looks risky. Sometimes a window of opportunity looks like it will not yield any results. But one thing you've got to understand and know is that windows of opportunity, I want to say, are not even fair, okay? Because here you could be an individual who has studied, planned, and prepared for a particular situation or circumstance, right? Patient and everything. But then here I come along, I've done no planning, I've done no preparation, but I had an eye and an understanding for a good opportunity. And so I see the window of opportunity for just that, a window of opportunity, a space where I can get in, where I fit in, and therefore reap the benefits of what that opportunity can afford, present, or yield, okay? And so windows of opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, are not always fair. Sometimes a window of opportunity is all about being in the right place at the right time, okay? I want to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to also say that a window of opportunity sometimes must be taken advantage of based on your gut feeling. In other words, circumstances may say something else, but deep down in your shanana, you know that's a deep spiritual place, y'all, shanana. But anyway, deep down in your shanana, you feel it in your bones, you feel it in your innards that, you know what, it's something about this opportunity. You know, and check this out. Can I be honest with you? Sometimes a window of opportunity, it's not even about trusting the individual. There have been some shady people who presented a good window of opportunity. Now, this is what I tell my kids, all right? I've told my kids this countless times. I wish I had $5 for every time I told them. Tell you today, all right? Don't tell nobody else. It's just between us, all right? In life, you do not get what you deserve. In life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. So you've got to learn to negotiate. And when it comes to windows of opportunities, it's not always about trusting the person on the other side, but it's about you being able to articulate what you expect, what you want, what you got to have, so on and so forth, okay? A window of opportunity doesn't mean you just jump in all hands and feet. A window of opportunity means You don't have forever to decide, number one. And if you don't get in now, you may never be able to get in. And a window of opportunity means you can take advantage of the time that you have during this window of opportunity to do what negotiation you can do. Now, depending on how good of a negotiator you are, may determine your outcome. But I promise you, if you do not negotiate what you feel you need or what you feel you deserve or what you think you should, so on and so forth, then when it's all said and done, don't complain to nobody talking about, oh, it wasn't fair. Look at here, man. If they presented it a certain way and you say, okay, then what you gonna complain about? So in life, we don't get what we deserve, we get what we negotiate. Learn to negotiate. Okay, learn to negotiate. Now, let's talk about negotiating. You gotta have the skill, all right? And you'll never get the skill if you never begin to try, if you never begin to implement what you do have as it pertains to negotiating. Okay? Now, the first thing you got to have in negotiating, you've got to have a desire. Okay, let's just say you're going for an interview. You got to have a desire for the job. You got to have a desire for a certain amount of money. Whatever. You got to have a desire. Okay, and then after you've got a desire, I think you might have different rules, or you may for these differently, but you got to have a desire. After a desire, ladies and gentlemen, you have to have some level of knowledge or understanding of what you are negotiating. Okay, I'm driving my hoopty today. As you can see, the interior is not the best. As a matter of fact, not much interior. Okay, but it's in the process. Okay, but the point is, this old Buick, I pulled it out of the junkyard, and before I began to negotiate with the owner of the junkyard, I saw the vehicle, and I grew a desire for the car. Right? I actually got, "Is that car for sale?" He said, "Yeah," and that was all I needed to know. So the rest of the day, it's just I leave the junkyard. I was there with my brother-in-law to get some parts. I leave, and the rest of the day, it's just all I can see in the back of my mind is this Buick, 1966 Buick, right? That's what I'm driving right now, and that's all I can see in my mind is the Buick. So all day it's playing over in my mind. So I hop on the interweb and I go and I say, "Hey to Google, what's a 1966 Buick special worth?" And I start seeing all the value of the 1966s and so on and so forth. I saw some in good shape, I saw some in bad shape, I saw some in pristine condition, right? And so I'm beginning to now get a little bit more knowledge and information about the thing that I'm desiring, so that I can have some leverage, excuse me, or at best position myself as best I can in the negotiation. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So I now call back and say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna come get the Buick," and I go up the next day. It might not have been the next day, but I get back up there, and let me tell you this about negotiating. You cannot properly and effectively negotiate if you ain't willing or able to pull the trigger once you get things to where you feel you need to have it. Okay? Now, so now keep that in mind, because some of you are pretty good negotiators, but you negotiate at the wrong time. You negotiate during the time when you are unable to pull the trigger. You negotiate when you are not unable to seal the deal if necessary, because during negotiating, you can get somebody to a certain place because you have them at the correct window of opportunity. So I don't go back to the junkyard where this car was parked, talking a bunch of numbers and not able to pull the trigger. So I went back with money in my pocket, right? Who was it? Was it Dennis Brown? Money in my pocket, but I just can't get no love. Okay, but anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I drifted there. But anyway, I had money in my pocket, prepared, ready, and able to pull the trigger once I got him to where I was comfortable. Okay, but not only that, I went back with a trailer. Yeah, I hooked the trailer up to the truck, and I went out there because, number one, I had a desire. I desired the car. I had information now, so I was now in a better place to negotiate. Because sometimes you negotiate for something, but you over negotiate. You say, I'll give you $3,000 for that thing, but it's really only worth 1,500. You know, and so you didn't properly study or you didn't properly prepare yourself to negotiate. And so you got what you wanted, but you could have got it for a much better price. You got to know what you're dealing with, folks. And so I go back there, I had the money in hand, and I had the trailer, so I was ready. And I get up there, and I only ended up spending a fraction of what I was prepared to spend. I get there, and the guy did not have the title. He says, we have the title, but it's at our other location. Take the good with that. So I gave him maybe half of what he was asking for. And once the title came in, he was going to call me so I could come in and pick up the title. And so during that time, I was able to find, now that I got the car in my possession, I found out some other things about the car that caused me to only get the car for the deposit that I put down. And so he was good with that because, you know, I'm in a position where I was able to negotiate him even further down. And so it was a real sweet deal. So I stole the Buick. I legally stole the Buick. And so she's been a, what do you call it, a work in progress. And so it didn't take much to get it running. I eventually had to swap out the motor and transmission. I didn't have to swap out the transmission, but because I was going to swap out the motor that I got came with the transmission, so just made sense, right? So ladies and gentlemen, windows of opportunity. Okay, so now let's talk about that. True story too. So as they're bringing the vehicle around and they place it on my trailer, and I am literally strapping it down to my trailer to secure it as I get ready to take off. A gentleman comes literally, I'm not even exaggerating, he literally comes speeding around the corner and turns into the parking lot. Dirt road, so dust is flying, everything. He gets up to me and stops. He says, man, I was coming to get that car. I said, well, bro, I got it now. So when it comes to windows of opportunities, sometimes you think you've got time to negotiate, you got time to consider, you got time to think it over. But do you know how many people have missed out on good deals, yours truly included, because they did not seize the moment while they had the moment? I want to shift once again. Some of you have a window of opportunity to sow into people you know, to help people you know get their business off the ground. And it might not even be, nor does it have to be financial, okay? Some of you, all you really need to do is just be there for them, coach them, encourage them, share knowledge, and things of that nature. So you see, sowing into somebody and investing into somebody, it's not always about money. It's not always about money. But I'm going to make it quick. If you don't seize the opportunity, if you don't take advantage of this window of opportunity that you have, next time you see them, you might have to get in line like everybody else. The next time you see them, you may have to pay full price. So in other words, you can make a small investment today that can yield you lasting benefits for a lifetime. Yeah, for a lifetime. There were people in my life who sold into my life who will never have to pay full price for things that I have to offer. Yeah, and I'm not even, you see, because here's what you've got to understand. Right now, you might be trying a thing. Right now, you might be honing your skill. Right now, you might be, practicing and trying to get better at what you're going to do sooner or later. But by the time you get to the point where you have perfected your craft, it's not so much that, you're selling your product or you're selling your, but your time is valuable. And you want my time once I've perfected this thing. then you don't have to pay full price like everybody else. Windows of opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, can prove to be not only good investments on life. I'm going through Hicktown right now, and it appears that I've gone to a dead spot. So I think I might have lost you guys. But let me just reiterate this to you as I get out of your way. Take advantage of the windows of opportunity when you have them. Don't prolong. Don't hesitate. Don't second guess. Don't procrastinate. But make sure you pull the trigger. All right? God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Apologize for the shoddy service as I'm going through Little Hicktown here on these back roads. But I definitely want to at least hop on and say what's up to everybody for a few moments as I make my way to my destination. Okay. Sometimes we struggle through life, but even the struggles sometimes are a window of opportunity. After that, suffer a while. They'll establish you, settle you, strengthen you, and make you perfect. Get your boy Retro. Thank you for pressing play. We'll holler at you next time.